A viewer of mine asked me to make a video comparing both Thunder Healing and Shaft Healing, well, the two augments for that, and I was like, why not dedicate an entire video for it, comparing it both, and what exact maps are good for it, what are the advantages and disadvantages of using one or the other augment, and yeah, just giving a small breakdown to help you guys to know, if it's even worth getting an augment in an event, whether it be from the mini games or any sort of future Tanki fund. Anyway, so let's get right into it. Now, right off the top of my head, we could do this. We could separate Shaft from its gameplay and Thunder from its gameplay. Thunder, number one, is extremely easy to use for newer players, especially, well, because it only requires you to shoot, while Shaft requires a very sophisticated way of, timing your enemy shot, especially if you're using mouse controls. Now, when it comes to healing, there's two modes for Shaft. Well, you have the scoping mode, and you have the normal arcade mode that allows you to heal both. Now, for when you are using your scope mode, you tend to heal a lot more than you would with your arcade, while with Thunder, you would do the base amount of healing that you would do with any regular shot. Now, the maps are really important. Now, what maps can you use Shaft and not use Shaft? And what maps are typically better for Thunder? Now, if you had to look, the values for both of them are nearly identical. The only disadvantage Shaft has is that it doesn't do as much damage as it does for healing because it recently got nerfed. Now, for Thunder, it does the same amount of damage. Actually, it does base hammer damage, but the healing's a little increased. Same thing with Shaft, but Shaft's normal damage is decreased, which kind of gives it a little bit of a disadvantage. Now, for the maps, if you're using a close range map to mid-range map, close mid-range, you would typically want to be using Thunder. In most case scenarios, you would be using Shaft, but Shaft offensively isn't the best because regular Nanotech shells, from what I've observed and when I was playing with it, you were still able to do splash damage, which is a huge thing compared to Shaft's single target shooting. Now, what hulls are better for Thunder or Shaft? Now, for Shaft, you typically want to be using either Viking, Crusader, Palicrins, and stuff like that. For Thunder, you're open to a lot more of a variety. You could even use Wasp, Hornet, and Hopper, something you typically wouldn't want to use Shaft with. Now, let's talk about numbers. I feel like numbers are the best way to compare both of these augments. So for Thunder Nanotech at max, MK7 level 20, direct hit damage does 2,100 healing, splash does 1,500 depending on the distance. The healing value to teammate near impact is typically 100. Now, unfortunately, you can't splash heal, which is a little unfortunate. Thunder has a 1.5 second reload, and the range is typically short to mid-range. Now, the healing radius overall is very small, which means that you kind of have to get close, but the recent patch notes upgraded it, so it kind of has a little bit of assistance when you're trying to heal any one of your allies. Now let's move on to healing emitters for Shaft. So your regular arcade shots can do 1,500 health per shot, assuming that you're using Brutus. It takes typically 3 seconds for you to heal your other allies, and the max amount of HP you could heal at once is 4,500. Now the reload time is around 1.3 seconds, and the range is typically long and medium. Long range for scoped shots, and unscoped shots is typically medium range. Now, for Thunder and Shaft, the further you are from the enemy, the healing definitely does drop off, just like how your damage also drops off. And to put the entire summary into a single file for you to understand, where you could come back later and analyze both of these, I'll put this table right on screen right now. Now, at the end of the day, it all comes down to your playstyle. If you're the sort of player that is aggressive and loves getting into the main action, Thunder Nanotech might be the healing augment for you. It's all about teamwork and supporting your squad from the backlines. Now, for Shaft and healing emitters, it's an easy way because you could shoot from across the map and still heal your teammates. And that basically ends my comparison for these augments. I personally rather use Thunder Nanotech from Shaft healing emitters, only because I'm not a Shaft main and I'm not exactly the best player when it comes to Shaft. So for me, I would personally pick Nanotechs. And that basically wraps up my comparison video. If you want to see more videos like this, me comparing more like similar augments from each other, you're more than welcome to express them in the comments down below. If you feel like I've messed out on a few damage numbers, I'm sorry, because I've tried looking through the Tanki Online wiki page and tried doing a little bit of calculation with it. So my numbers aren't exactly precise, but they are somewhere like, around that area. So do forgive me for all of that. As for always, I'll see you guys all in another one. Peace.